This is a custom Domino statue. Domino is a Marvel character, and I'm going to blow your mind right now. Domino's secret mutant power is luck, which, believe it or not, makes her one of the most powerful mutants in the entire Marvel universe. And if you're like, that's stupid, let me church this up for you. Her mutant ability isn't luck. Subconscious, telekinetic, probability manipulation. Now that sounds powerful. You ever notice that, how we church so much shit up? For example, you don't buy a used car from a salesman anymore. You buy a certified pre-owned vehicle from a consultant. Much better. As the Extreme channel is pushing towards 50,000 subscribers, these are just a few of the statues we are giving away on the journey there. If you want to know how to win one, stay tuned for later in the video. Really excited to bring you this custom 1 3.5 scale Domino statue. So this is between 1/4 and 1/3 scale. So 1/4 means 4 times smaller than a real life version. This particular statue right here is actually part of an entire XForce line. Domino is most notably known as a member of the XForce team, which was kind of an offshoot of X-Men. I have also owned this Wolverine statue, but I have sold it. And there's been quite a few more that look awesome. Now, while I'm not a big fan of the scale because she's not going to scale well with the rest of my pieces behind me, and while those are all X-Men, I've sold all the different X-Force statues I've ever owned. There's a few of them right here. So with that being said, I'm still stoked to have her because without a doubt, while there's not a lot of Domino statues done, this one is by far the best one I've ever seen on so many levels. Kind of a spoiler, if you don't want to watch the rest of the review, just know she is fantastic. So Domino, as I said, she is a lucky. You know, you kind of want to amplify that by 10 times, and a lot of people never realize that until they saw Deadpool 2, where there, in my opinion, was a pretty cool iteration of her, and I hope we see her back on the screen. She also has some other abilities. She's a master marksman, good with guns, also martial artist. So you combine all that stuff together, she is pretty incredibly deadly. And what you got to think about is when you have a character like this and you want to capture their secret power or their ability or their mutant ability into a statue, it's incredibly hard to do. But what's awesome is I think they nailed it here. Now, before we talk about that a little more, I personally don't believe in luck. I don't believe in good luck or bad luck. I don't believe in karma. I do believe that chance favors the prepared mind. What that means is sometimes when an option comes, if you're more prepared for it, you may be more fortunate. But with Domino, that's not the case. Things around her just manipulate into luck in her favor. It even started before she was born, like putting the right people in her life. And what they did in this statue, especially with the concept, they really tried to capture that. And as I said, it's incredibly difficult to do. Now, one of the really cool things about this statue we'll talk about in design is there's a lot of display options that slightly change the concept. Here on the base, they've been doing these matching bases with this entire line. They're breaking into some type of structure. Some of them are killing soldiers. And I like that they follow the theme, but it's kind of this generic base if it's a standalone piece, with the exception of all the bullet casings on the bottom. So you want to assume that either she shot all these or maybe she's walking through people who tried to shoot at her and missed for whatever reason. She's in a little bit of an offshoot of her classic X-Force costume, which is fantastic, and doing a smug walk. And that's what Domino does. I mean, it sounds stupid, but literally if people are shooting at her because of her mutant ability, she can walk and it won't actually hit her. Now, she has to do a little bit. She can't expect things just to happen by themselves. She is fully decked out. She has like 5 or 6 different guns on her. And in this particular pose right here, one of the guns is hanging from her finger. She doesn't even need it because she's using her mutant ability. But everything is trashed below except her. She is unscathed, untouched, walking forward, extremely smug. Number of different portraits. Some have that kind of smug, arrogant look, which I think suits her really well. One's a little bit more where she's a little more intense, which I think also suits her character. But it is awesome. I really like it. She's like, come touch me. It doesn't matter. I have my mutant ability, as demonstrated by everything down here in the carnage. So I think the concept for a Domino statue is a 5 out of 5. I don't know how you could make it better. Sideshow Collectibles did a Domino of her on a machine, a slot machine here, showing that she would win, which obviously does show the concept, but that's kind of stupid. I really like this. But they did even better in design other than the scale. Like I said, I'm not a fan of the scale. We actually measured her on a live stream the other night, me, Todd Father, JB, and the truth is she is coming in at about 6'6" if this was a quarter scale, where in real life she's 5'8". But she still might pair okay with other quarter scale pieces, despite the fact she is that bigger scale than 1/4. So while there wasn't an unboxing assembly, because we did that on a different live stream, here are some of the boxes, and then we'll look at the switch outs. It's actually a reasonably sized box, and 3 different layers. You can see the layers here. Just so you know, one of the reasons, that's Todd's knees, by the way. One of the reasons I like showing these is it helps me remember when I ever need to box it back up. But you can see how everything was layered here. So the base was one piece. There were 6 or 7 small pieces that were a pain in the ass to figure out where they went. Her guns on her side also fit in via keyholes and magnets. There's some of those. And then her arms, because she has different switch outs we're going to look at, were separate pieces, as well as her portrait. Great that it was that compact box. We'll measure her really quick. So the deepest part of the base is right about 15 inches. Widest part is 12. And then the statue is right under 22 inches. Now the great part about this, it fits really well. Where I remember that Wolverine piece I had, now granted it was a big diorama, it took up so much room. It took up over twice the amount of room. And she is my only remaining X-Force piece, like I said, but I'm still going to put her with X-Men behind me. But the biggest problem is I don't know which display options to show because I frankly love them all. However, my least favorite is the long-haired portrait. This I will probably put back in the box because I think the other portraits are so phenomenal. First, you have this one right here, kind of a Joan Jett. And again, it's kind of that smug, arrogant look. But then another short-haired portrait, which looks awesome, where she's a little bit vicious, almost like she's pissed. And it fits the walk of this statue really well. So you can see right here, she has her arms out and a gun hanging. This is the first switch out you have for the arms. But you also have one where she has 2 big badass guns holding up. That is damn cool. And then one where she is reloading or releasing the clip in this gun right here. And you can do a little bit of mix and matching, although it looks weird. Those are the arms that are all meant to be together. I love them all. Like I said, I think this one shows her mutant ability a little bit more. So this will probably be my go-to with switching out the portraits, but great job on the switch outs. Now, one thing about the assembly is there's 5 or 6 of these little things right here that there is no instruction on where to go, and a lot of them are very difficult to locate. So it would have been nice to get a little bit of instruction and direction, but again, nothing that's breaking the bank. I have one right here, which I don't think is in the right place. Looked all over for somewhere I could stick this in, and that seemed like the best place.
That's what she said.
Design, I think it's fantastic. I think it's a 4 out of 5. If this was quarter scale, I would have given it a 5 out of 5. I mean, just making this weird-ass scale is... I don't know why they did that. I hate that. Paint and sculpt, again, they knocked it out of the park. These are some beautiful female portraits. Some of the art direction, I'm not a huge fan of. I think they went a little bit over on the chest. And you'll see what I'm talking about. Take a look. So I do want to take a minute to look at all the portraits first. Absolutely beautiful. I love the feminine aspect. You know, Domino always has a skin condition. I believe that's why she's always a little bit lighter white with kind of a birthmark around her eye. And I might be wrong on that. I'm not a huge Domino fan. But look at these eyes. I can't tell if they're decals or not, but if they are, they're fantastic decals, well placed. I love how the lips are pursed together. The Joan Jett type hair on this one looks absolutely great. Long-haired portrait. And I think one of the reasons I don't like this as much is because the expression is just more plain. It is very similar to this one. It might even be the same sculpt, but in my head, it just looks different. But she's got this little smirk. Looks absolutely great. Great job on the hair. And then I think a lot of people, the last one is their favorite, and I can't blame them. She's a little bit pissed. Great job with the hair. Very, very classic Domino. But they really did a nice job. The base looks great. I love the weathering and the tear on the yellow. You see little details like the wires running through. And like I said, this is similar to the rest of the bases in the line. And then just totally destroyed back here. You see some venting and tubes, but then the casings everywhere look absolutely fantastic. You know, they did a great job with the paint. You know, there's no bleed over on those, yet they're all glued to the base, so that's a lot of hand painting down there. And then all this destruction just layered on top of each other. Looks really nice. The wires cut. And these grays and silvers really help contrast the dark black colors from her suit. And with that, her suit kind of has this sheen and almost this blue hinting to it. With these really bright lights in the phone, it really brings it out. You don't see it as much in person, but I love the buckles and straps. Look at these. They did a fantastic job. Reminds me of like Prime 1/3 scale buckles, XForce symbol there, the straps. And I like that they used a lighter gray on these straps to really help bring out a little bit of color within the statue. But her physique, her anatomy is fantastic. I think the chest is a little too big, but they did a great job how lean and muscular she is. I think it's perfect. You can see some folds and creases in the suit. Look at the zipper work here, just around her chest. Fantastic job. Really like that. I mean, this sculpt is absolutely amazing. The pouches, the accessories, fingers, the gloves, and then the portraits just knock it out of the park as well. Really impressed with this entire thing. I mean, the more I look at it, the more I am absolutely wowed. Great concept, cool display options, and amazing paint and sculpt. Paint extremely solid. I love the gleam of her suit. You know, it's kind of a darker statue, but they all are, but it's still a very, very solid 4 out of 5 in my opinion. I like the sculpt even better. This is really well done. Like I said, I wish they weren't showing all the cleavage. That's too sexualized for me. And, you know, a lot of people are like, why don't you like sexualized statues? I like sexualized humans. Just my thing. I'd rather touch skin than polystone. But with that, I still think it's a 5 out of 5 on the sculpt. Fantastic job. So let's talk about price. This is a custom, means it's a private unlicensed commission. Marvel, Disney didn't approve this. A typical 1/4 scale piece retails for about $650 to $1,000, depending on how elaborate it is. I think this is pretty simplistic, although it's, you know, the concept's great. But this was $1,250. It's a little bit bigger than a 1/4 scale, but thankfully it's a custom. They don't make as many, but they made a lot of these. There's 120 of these made. That's a lot, especially for a character who's not in high demand. Also, the fact that she doesn't scale well with what most collectors collect for Marvel, which is 1/4 scale. There's not a lot of 1/3 scale, which she obviously wouldn't look good with as well. So I think that the value is really iffy. I think it's a 3 out of 5. I think I'd be lucky to get my money back, especially when you put shipping into there. But yeah, this is an expensive piece for a character who's not highly sought after, and it doesn't go with a lot of pieces. So even though I love the concept, design, paint, sculpt, I'd still just average on the value of 3 out of 5. But does she have the X factor? This is my overall feeling of the statue. You know, sometimes I'm like, are you drawn to it? You won't be drawn to this, but I really like this. I think this is a 5 out of 5. The switch outs really put it over the top for me. All the cool display options. I didn't know if I was going to keep this simply because I got rid of all my X-Force stuff and she doesn't scale with a lot of my X-Men pieces. I'm 100% keeping this. I love it. Makes me want to get some X-Force pieces again. But 5 out of 5 for me. Very impressed with this statue. Does scale really matter to you guys? Throw that in the comments below. And if you want to see what she looks like, make sure you've subbed to the channel and you've hit that bell notification because we have a room tour coming in the next month. But for now, just throw down that comment because that could win you a statue of the 30,000 sub giveaway we're super close to. We will be giving all of these statues away, plus additional ones at every 5,000 subscriber milestone. To win one of these statues, all you have to do is make sure you've liked this video, you've subscribed to the channel, you've hit that bell notification, and then just drop a comment below. Every 5,000 subscriber milestone, we are going to do a random drawing and pick a random comment and give one of these statues away, plus some additional ones I'm not showing right now. The more videos you comment on, the higher your chances are to win. Hey, please drop me a like. It's free and easy. It really, really helps. And you might get lucky if you do that. That's chance preparing the favored mind. But I'll talk to you guys later. Take care of yourself.